This is TWiT.
I don't know if this exists, but I'm looking for an app, a phone app, that I can easily keep track of every charge I make. My husband and I both have used two major credit cards, and we charge everything.
Right.
And we pay it off at the end of the month.
Right.
And we do it for two reasons. But my main reason is not this. Like, I'm self-employed. He's not. He's employed, but not self-employed. So, with the Staples now being hacked, and I buy a lot of office products there.
Yeah.
So we charge a lot of things, even little things, go and get gas or grocery store. What's an easy way to check, to reconcile, except taking out every receipt and looking at the statement?
Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you?
No.
No, and I'm with you. I feel like we're putting one over on the credit card companies when we use them like crazy and they pay it off at the end of the month. Ha ha! No interest for you. Ha!
And rewards.
No, and I think that's a great way to do it. I encourage my kids to do that. You build credit. It's convenient. If you've got miles or points on the card, you get a little something extra. Just don't run a balance, because that's where they make all their money. So you're right to want to kind of keep track of it. I wouldn't worry. And by the way, very important nowadays with credit card theft, you're exactly right, to make sure that your card isn't used inappropriately. I have to say, though, because of the laws in this country, the credit card companies are liable for losses. They pay better attention to it than you ever will. And it's kind of a little frustrating sometimes. Some of the banks I have credit cards with will actually just turn the card off. The minute they see anything weird, it just stops working. And then they send you a note saying, call us if this is real, but we don't think so, so we're turning your card off. Other cards, American Express, very good. The fraud department, very good about calling or sending an email saying, we think there's some fraudulent charges. So just to reassure you a little bit, because they're liable for losses, they're very careful to monitor this. And they do some really interesting back-end computer big data analysis. Someday we'll spend some time talking about how big data works. But they are very sharp. There's patterns that they look for. For instance, the surest way to get your credit card cut off is to fill up the tank twice at one gas station at the same time. Say you and your husband pull up and you fill up his tank and then you fill up yours. That's exactly the kind of behavior a stolen charge card has. And so they'll immediately flag that. And you'll get a call saying, did you really buy 2 tanks of gas at once? Because that's weird. And then you say, yes, I did. And they say, okay. But to answer your question, there are several apps that I highly recommend.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
My favorite is free. It's called Mint.
Okay.
It's from TWiT, the folks who do Quicken. You may have used Quicken in your early days of computing. It's still around.
Yes.
But people got tired of entering everything in by hand, or downloading their bank statements. So the way Mint works, you give it all your information, your logins to all your accounts. And you may say, wait a minute, I'm not doing that. In fact, the first time I started to do it, a big red flag went up. Hold on there. But I checked, and it turns out Mint doesn't keep that information. You're giving the information to a service. There are various services. I think with Mint, it's something called Yodlee, which is the same service the banks use. So Yodlee, in effect, already knows all of this information. Banks are using it. Credit cards are using it. Your credentials are stored there and are secure there. So what you'll do is to Mint is you'll go and you'll give it your logins for all your accounts, all of them. If you're willing to, you don't have to. But what then you get, Mint keeps track. Mint is basically going to give you the same thing Quicken gave you without any data entry on your part. At any given moment, it's completely up to date. So you can quickly review credit card transactions. You can also look at your bank account. You can see.
And you use this?
I love it. Yep.
Okay, sounds great. I'm a late adopter. I heard you talk about that in LastPass, and I wait and wait.
Well, and you're right, too, especially, if you go to mint.com, you can read up about it and why it's secure. I was very nervous about it. I actually waited a year after they came out and did a lot of research to make sure it's okay, but it is. But go to mint.com and read about it. It's free. The way they pay for it, and you should always ask, well, okay, if it's free, how do they make money on it? The way they pay for it is they give you recommendations. Like if they see your loan, you have a credit card, high interest rate credit card, they'll in effect give you an ad for a lower interest rate credit card, none of which is obtrusive in my opinion, some of which is quite useful. So, and they'll do budgeting for you. Yeah, Mint is basically everything we got from Quicken without all that work. And it has an app for iOS, for Windows Phone, for Amazon phones, and for Android phones.
That sounds great.
It's exactly what you want.
I don't have to enter anything.
No data entry. Makes it very easy to review your credit card charges because it's all there. You can get notifications through your you can set limits. In fact, I would suggest this anyway. Your bank and credit card company will almost certainly have a way to have you texted if, for instance, there's a charge on your card from overseas and you live in New Jersey, or there's
right.
or you get you could set an amount saying anytime anything over $50 is charged, I want to hear about it, and you'll get a text message. So you can also look at your credit card company will probably offer that as well.
I do that on the specific credit card sites, but our grocery store sometimes we have just $5 entries, on the credit card, and my husband and I like, what, $5?
Yeah.
And we can't figure it out. But
well,
it's $5, and it's like, I'm not going to get down.
You should check that. Yeah, you should always check those.